Over 2 weeks ago, I went on the YouTube community page and asked everyone for their metal hot takes. No guiding, just a gif of Homer Simpson shouting hot take and asking for your thoughts on metal. Almost 200 comments later, I decided to point out a few. I wanted to pull out 10 specific hot takes from the community and give my thoughts and if I agree or disagree. This is one person's opinion reacting to other people's opinions in metal. If you get upset over it, that's fine. Just keep in mind you're getting mad at a stranger on YouTube. Better places to focus your energy. This video is sponsored by Heavies. Your listening experience matters, and if you're going to listen to heavy music, do you really trust that experience to cheap earbuds and weak headphones with mediocre audio? Heavies is the answer, designed specifically for metal and heavy music listening. 8, count them 8 speakers delivering an immersive listening experience, along with the noise canceling mode called Hell Blocker, which is an extremely metal term for noise canceling, combined with 5 built-in microphones, physical volume knob, 50-hour battery life, travel case, and interchangeable shells so you can show off some of your favorite groups that have partnered with Heavies. You can get $40 off any of these H1H model bundles or the shell bundles by using the code ROCKED at checkout. These are the highest quality headphones I have ever used, and you can get them at a big discount. Check out Heavies.com for more info on the H1H model and use the code ROCKED at checkout for $40 off. Lars is actually a good drummer. I mean, we were bound to get this one, right? I'm surprised more people didn't have Lars hot takes on the post than we received. I'm pretty sure every metal fan from casual to elitist has something to say about Lars Ulrich. I agree with the hot take and with the adjective. Lars Ulrich is a good drummer. Not a great drummer, not legendary, maybe not influential, but good? Yes, he's good. I mean, there are more Metallica albums out there where drumming is not an issue than there are where drumming can sour the mood. Insert St. Anger snare drum joke here. We can all joke around, but the drumming was normally never a hindrance. Most of Lars' hate comes because Lars is, well, Lars. He's a character. My view is that even if Lars had never been the most talented member of Metallica, that does not mean he's flat out bad. They still think he's good. And I know there was a clip out there in the past year of Lars sounding rough live. I could even give a pass for an occasional off night. Parkway Drive's latest 2 albums, Reverence and Darker Still, are overhated. The onslaught of elitist hate toward bands like Parkway Drive and Architects has been amped up significantly due to online vitriol of said elitism and furious fans angry that these bands are straying away from the respective group's sound from 10 years prior. And I agree specifically that Reverence and Darker Still are overhated. Most of the hate is from the long-running metalcore crowd who are upset with the current mainstream metalcore sound, as well as a band like Parkway Drive doing something different in tone than Carrion, especially in Darker Still. Parkway Drive fans do want to support the band, the great live performances, but there is a big section of that crowd who only want the pre-Reverence work, and that's it. It's the grumpy 40-plus-year-old standing in the back of the venue with their arms folded as soon as they hear something new. That attitude. Neither album is my favorite from Parkway Drive, but I still enjoy songs from each, and the biggest hate is coming from the toxic metalcore online dorks and the elitists who demand only the early stuff be celebrated. Mushroomhead is on par with Slipknot. The Knot is seen by many as the pinnacle of mass bands in the metal scene, and it's unfair to say that Slipknot is the only band to do it. Mushroomhead, dope. There are others who came around that time also and are still active. But I disagree with this take, as I don't think Mushroomhead is on par with Slipknot by just about any measure. I'm not saying this is a Mushroomhead hater either. I'm saying there are many metrics, both subjective and objective, and I really feel Slipknot towers over Mushroomhead by a mile. Regardless of who came first, Slipknot's evolution in sound, live spectacle, range and tone, iconic albums, all of which is much more impressive. That's not even discussing sales and singles and statistical success. I'm struggling to see how Mushroomhead is on par. Mushroomhead's sound would also be not as memorable without the masked image. Also, this is an Ohio-based band with a Confederate flag that defends everything they do as creative liberties. Ohio-based Confederate flag wavers. Slipknot doesn't do that either. Megadeth is the worst of the big 4. Back to the big 4 hot takes, and one that I have seen thrown around occasionally as so many thrash fans love to rank the big 4, say who doesn't belong in the big 4, which thrash band should be in the big 4, and who is the worst. Megadeth is always a name for debate. As for Megadeth being the worst, back in the 2000s I would not have thought that at all. In the late 2000s I would have at least made an argument against that idea, I should say. But in 2024... there's a good argument for Megadeth being at the bottom of the big 4, as the bad Megadeth has really stacked up over the years. I don't just mean the recent releases either, though that's the main focus. Last year's The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead was not Dave Mustaine at his best creatively, lyrically, performance-wise, anything really. I enjoyed Dystopia when I first heard it, but as the years have gone on, it's a 1 or 2 song album bloated with filler. I'm talking recent Megadeth because over the last 15 to 20 years, Megadeth has really fallen by the wayside in terms of living up to past work. Also, Dave's voice is not aging gracefully live. It all sucks to say, but Yeah, I can agree with this take. Five Finger Death Punch is the best metal band of all time. There is a diehard contingency of mainstream metal fans who love a certain demographic of music that makes music tailor-made to a patriotic, angry audience. Five Finger Death Punch is one of the best at that. That's all I can think of for them being the best at something. Not only do I disagree with them being the best metal band of all time, but Five Finger Death Punch isn't even one of the best bands of the last 15 years. Looking back at the catalog of terrible covers and relying on phoned-in live performances and recycled lyrics and song structure, how are they the best? I get that Five Finger's core audience loves exactly what Ivan Moody and company dishes out. I'm angry, I want to punch someone, woe is me, no one loves me, chugga chugga stock riffs and solos, let's go Brandon. That's what Five Finger Death Punch has become in the last 5 years, but before these recent years, were they really much better? Now that I think about the discography and longevity of Five Finger Death Punch's music, it's amazing to hear more than 8 full albums of music and so much of it be weak, not even mid or stock, just weak, and saying the best of all time, yeah, I could not disagree more. White Pony isn't even in Deftones' top 3 in their catalog. Deftones are an acquired taste, and the Deftones lovers are very protective of their favorite albums from the group. Part of it depends when you became a Deftones fan, as they've been around since the mid-90s and stayed relevant since. As for me personally, I disagree with this take, however, I understand the argument, as Deftones have more than 3 amazing albums. However, I do understand the argument, as Deftones have more than 3 amazing, iconic albums behind them, so it's easy to rank which ones you love most, and I can see if someone would love a specific Deftones LP over White Pony. Diamond Eyes, Koi no Yokon, I put them at the same ranking as White Pony, but I also get that there is self-titled and Around the Fur lovers out there. I might think White Pony is top 3, but there's definitely good answers for others if they have a different top 3 for Deftones LPs. I did an old discography tier list with Crash Thompson during pandemic. Check that out in the description and subscribe to Crash also. See what you think where we ranked everything for Deftones up to a certain point. I also am in the group that is impatiently waiting for new Deftones. Again, Powerman 5000 deserved better. Most people remember Powerman 5000 for the Spaceman gimmick, when worlds collide and the singer Spider-1 being the younger brother of Rob Zombie and White Zombie. That's all fine, but there was a lot more of Powerman 5000 over the years. I 100% agree with this. Tonight the Stars Revolt was amazing, fun, new metal, it was catchy, loud, memorable, but Spider-1 kept making music and there was good stuff found on other PM5K albums. Everything didn't end with the Spaceman album as new metal faded into obscurity. I had Transform, the 2003 Powerman 5000 album, and Transform had a lot of good songs on it with much more serious tone than people would ever give credit to the new metal group, let alone with a singer named Spider-1. It would get socio-political, introspective, all while getting in your face. Powerman 5000 did deserve better, especially as the group was lumped in with so many dime a dozen new metal groups in 99 and 2000. They were much better than many of those one-hit wonder groups. I mean, Powerman without the gimmick, the music and artists involved still deserved more credit. The Surface by Beartooth is one of the best new metal albums of the year. It's also the best pop album of the year. It can be both. Big statement coming from a Beartooth fan who is definitely over the moon with Caleb's new outlook in The Surface. Regarding The Surface being the best new album of the year, whether you wanted to put it in 2023 or of the last 12 months, no, I'm not. I didn't love or enjoy this more than many other Beartooth albums. I disagree. I think part of my issue with Beartooth, though, is that while solid, I do feel the music, writing structure, tone is so similar to each other album after album that it's hard to disassociate. Saying Beartooth can be metal and pop is a better argument than saying it was the best metal album or best pop album of the year, or last year, or whatever. I do think Caleb and Beartooth are a proper face for crossover appeal and heavy music into the pop realm, but as The Surface being the best, I'm struggling to think of a reason why. I prefer Rob and Jason to Cliff Burton. One final Big Four take. The history of bassists in Metallica and just bass in general has strong metal lore. Each bassist, past or current, has had several Metallica albums under their individual belts. A debate I regularly hear, though, is who was the best as Cliff passed away in his prime. I understand the statement, and I'm not saying I'm totally against something like this, because I think Rob is great. He's an aggressive bass player that has a strong presence. In fact, I do think I prefer Rob to Jason as a bassist, but when compared to Cliff Burton, it's a harder argument for me. Burton's thin strings and endless fretwork, along with creativity and bass riffs, added so much to Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets. While Rob is aggressive and Jason is solid, Cliff was brimming with creativity and was such a strength to Metallica in the 80s. If Cliff had not been lost in that accident, I do wonder what direction Metallica would have gone on in the 90s and beyond. I prefer Rob to Jason, but not to Cliff. It's a slight disagree on this one. However, even if I don't love the latest Metallica album, that's not to say it's on Rob. It's more the endless, truly endless jam sessions, extending each track by 5 minutes with not really adding anything extra. Heard enough of that from Metallica. In This Moment went downhill after Blood. I wanted to end with this one as my opinion has changed on In This Moment over the past 10 years, and while I'm still a fan, I do think Blood is In This Moment's standout album for good reason, and it hasn't been matched in hindsight. So I agree with this, but it's not that I think In This Moment have not put out more solid albums. I really enjoyed Ritual, and there are many songs on Black Widow I enjoyed. I think the downhill argument makes it sound like a steep decline, but it's not my view, at least not so much. I just think that Blood is their best. That's it. I enjoyed the band's album from last year as it had more of a tech Matrix feel to it. Sure, you can see that as downhill from what I think was In This Moment's best, but it's not that there has been any other good output. I admit that the live performances from In This Moment have degraded over the years, but I also think changes were made to accommodate what the group does live. That's just part of getting older. I don't enjoy the In This Moment's albums as much as I did on release, but Blood still has the most standout songs. That's a part of getting older also. Just realize you don't enjoy the same albums as much. Having hot takes does not make you immature either, it just means you might have an unpopular opinion. It's when you intentionally try to have a contrarian opinion that means you're immature, or you're trying to be edgy or different for attention. There were some comments like that on the community post for sure. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and leave a comment. If this video gets a good reception, I'll make another in a few months where I pull 10 more hot takes from the community tab on a new post and go from there. Here's hoping that we don't get more hot takes around the big four. Your listening experience matters. Heavies is the answer, designed specifically for metal and heavy music listening. 8, count them, 8 speakers delivering an immersive listening experience. These are the highest quality headphones I have ever used, and you can get them at a big discount. Check out heavies.com for more info on the H1H model and use the code ROCK to check out for $40 off.